Oh, hi. I'm not out of breath or anything. This doesn't happen every week when I dance to start the Buttonista podcast. It just doesn't. I am in great shape. I am young. I have not seen any physical, emotional, or mental effects of the coronavirus pandemic. I'm fine over here, guys. I'm absolutely fine. We're still dancing. The sun's out, and we're back with another episode, which is the most important thing. And by the way, this isn't the second time we've recorded this, so I'm not trying to do anything I was doing before. It's brand new, never before seen.
That didn't help your cause that you're not going mentally insane.
I don't know about that, and I don't think I'm alone, which is fine. But if you are feeling like you need a little bit of something to pick you up, keep you going throughout this, I would highly recommend you continue consuming alcohol, but you do it with Vizzy. Because if you do it with Vizzy, you're only doing it 100 calories at a time. You're going to be one of the first people in the know on what I'm calling the drink of the spring. It's healthy. It has fruit in it, or it at least tastes like fruit. The cans are aesthetically pleasing. It's basically like water, and it's one of the newest seltzers on the market, which means you have your own trend report going on. By the time everybody is gathering again and you bring a 12-pack of Vizzy to the party, it doesn't matter if you're wearing tie-dye, a headband, you're accessorizing, your pants don't fit, you're going to be the coolest person there. And that's why I'm drinking Vizzy, to get me through this, to make me feel like when I lose my breath from dancing, I can put some of those electrolytes back in my body. I don't think it has any electrolytes in it, but it's a figure of speech, right?
Yeah, just keep telling yourself that. And you call it the drink of the spring, I call it the drink of the quarantine.
Yeah, but quarantine, that word is going to get old, and I don't really like that word. I feel weird saying it because I'm not technically in quarantine, but that's what we're all calling it, right?
Yes, and it's inappropriate for us to use that.
Isn't it?
Because you quarantine sick people.
Right.
And you isolate healthy people, I think. I'm not sure.
You know what? Isolation would have been a better word, but we've just been rolling with quarantine for way too long. We've been providing updates. This week's update is coming to you from a new corner of my apartment. Because listen, I'm on Instagram, I get it. I've posted a very similar version of the same picture for weeks on end. Continues to get likes, continues to get love, so I'm not gonna stop. But this is a better angle for the light, Jack tells me, if you guys are watching. Of course, you can always listen on Apple Podcasts, Simplecast, whatever. But behind me, this is where I think I might spend some of my stimulus check, which is really a stimulus direct deposit, which Jack and I were talking earlier. He was talking with his girlfriend, starting to drop in people's bank accounts this week. Some people, maybe like us, are feeling a little bit guilty about it. Like, what should you really do with it? Is there a right way to spend it? A lot of us are still employed and lucky to be working. So really, like, where should that money go, right?
It's a tough question.
I think for a smart person, that money should go straight to savings, which I have intentions of doing some of it.
And what are you actually going to do?
What I'm actually going to do is I am going to use a little bit of it to pay off my credit card. Like I said last week on the podcast, I spent a great, more than normal amount of money furnishing the apartment. So got myself not in any type of trouble, but it would be great to throw some of the money towards that. So that's my number one priority. And then my number two priority as of this morning was that it's finally time to build my gallery wall, which is an exciting and very intimidating design element in apartments. It's very hot on the streets. People have been doing it for a long time, but now I think it's gotten more artistic. We talked about my friend Andrea Zappone last week and her selfie game. Now I want you to go check out her gallery wall game because she posted some pictures this morning that made me said, you know what? I'm going to go do it. I'm going to try to tackle this because I've wanted to, and filming more against this particular wall with my cowgirl, I feel like it's time. So Donald J. Trump, he will have a small plaque on the back of my gallery wall just to know that he held. No, I'm just kidding. I would not do that.
So the cowgirl's going to get some friends?
The cowgirl's going to get some friends. I think I know what I want. It's definitely, oh my God, Jack is ruining the audio of this whole thing. Not my air conditioning that I couldn't figure out how to turn off. It's Jack who's dropped his phone twice. He might need to spend his stimulus check on a new phone or a new phone case.
Or new clothes because it's hot in here and I'm sweating.
Oh my God, I'm sweating too. I'm so glad you said that. Drink your Vizzy.
There we go.
I am totally sweating. If I had my air conditioning on, it would have been fine. Anyways, so I'd be curious to know how other people are spending their stimulus checks. Obviously, articles that I've read online, a lot of people have to spend it on food and necessities, maybe paying some bills. There's some memberships that you still have to pay and be responsible for. So all in all, I'm pretty impressed. It wasn't taxed, which I was sure thinking it was going to be like $800 instead of $1,200. So if you have it, try to save as much as you can. Let's put it towards a future trip, helping a friend or family member out, supporting local if you can. I've been trying to throw any extra money that I have to support local to some different businesses that aren't in everybody's thoughts every single day. So when we had Alex on talking about buying some hair products locally, I bought a cake locally today because bakeries are still open. So think about some of those people kind of on the outskirts, your florists, your people in different industries besides just restaurants. That's a great place to support. People are doing that, but that's kind of more natural to think about. So I don't know, buy yourself a cake, treat your mom. What are you going to do?
I don't know. Well, I still don't feel good about it.
Why don't you feel good about it? Because you don't need it?
Yeah, I guess so. And I feel like there's strings attached. And I'm like, it's like when I got the U2 album, I'm like, thank you, but why?
Thank you, but why? I hope it helps people. I hope it goes a long way. And I think those of us that don't necessarily need it, just be smart about it. Treat it like a gift in this very weird time. It's like a little, not an IOU, but like a, hey, I know I messed up. Not that anybody messed up. It's nobody's fault, but it is weird. It's weird to just get a big fat deposit, especially around tax season, because I'm forgetting that I'm going to file my taxes in a few weeks and hopefully get some sort of return there. So unfortunately, I just don't want anybody to be like me and take too much of an opportunity to treat themselves,
Yeah.
However, I did treat myself on one thing this morning that I haven't had in a few months since all of this happened.
What is it?
It's probably one of the easiest and greatest things to cut out of your life. Dunkin' Donuts.
America runs on Dunkin'.
I ran on Dunkin' this morning, and I've never felt so good. It was the weirdest feeling. I've seen someone who lives in this apartment building. She must go on an afternoon walk and come back with an iced coffee with her friend or roommate, and that means Dunkin' Donuts is open for business down the street here in downtown Albany and drive-thrus elsewhere. And I thought, what, today's the day. I'd love an iced coffee. I didn't have time to make a real coffee. So we walked down there, placed a mobile order. I did get a bacon, egg, and cheese on a croissant. I didn't need it, again, but I got it. And, those are just okay. Like, they're never above a 4 or 5. They just serve your purpose. You can eat them on the go.
It's fuel food.
Well, today it tasted like feast food because I'm not even kidding. I ate it and I was like just sitting in this exact spot like, oh my God, like that was so amazing. I didn't want it to be over. I couldn't believe it. It was so good.
Why was it so special?
I hope it's not a knock to my cooking because I've been doing so much cooking in quarantine isolation, but I think it was just, you take for granted some of those on the go things that you get to eat, and when you eat them in those moments, you don't enjoy it because you're literally on the move. You have to get somewhere, you have a meeting, you need something quick, you're hungover. Where today, it made me feel like $1 million. It was crazy. So that is something that if you have to treat yourself, I'm not going to knock you if you have to go do that or go to Starbucks drive-thru every once in a while, as long as you're being careful. We've said that.
Talk about a dream sponsor.
It was a little bit of a dream sponsor. I'm glad we're not sponsored by tie-dye today, though, because
Why not?
I thought I was being trendy. I thought I was taking the advice of not only myself, but some of the magazines that I've been reading about spring fashion, what to wear when you're working from home. And I chose this nice bright green light tie-dye puff sleeve 3/4 dress for today. And one of my followers, who's a pretty loyal follower, had commented about today's episode, not knowing what I was wearing, saying that light color tie-dye looks like shit. And I was like, oh, my headphones are in. I don't have time to go change and think of a whole new outfit. And I get it because I've seen a lot of tie-dye since I've said it. I'm still feeling it. I have another tie-dye outfit in my closet that I will break out. It's a sweatsuit, so it's a little more on the casual side. But to be testing out bright colors in a very low-risk environment, let me tell you, because really, not that many eyeballs on you day to day, unless you're filming like this. You open it up to a couple more people. But, I was happy to see a lot of really great Easter outfits out and about this week, even though people were home. I was hoping everybody would take the opportunity to just step it up, right? Still going to be with family, your loved one, whoever you can celebrate with via Zoom or whatever. I had to basically beg my mom to like even acknowledge Easter. I was like, Mom, what are we doing for Easter? And she was like, what do you mean? And I was like, what do you mean? Like it's Easter. Not that I care particularly about the holiday itself, but I just thought this year of all years, why not step it up a notch? And she was just kind of just like, well, what do you want to do? There's nothing to do. I was like, let's cook, let's get dressed up. I was like, buy me a bunch of presents. No. But I was like, let's have Easter. So I took matters into my own hands and I hosted it at my apartment.
Wow.
I did the shopping, I did the cooking. I wore a nice spring pale pastel jumpsuit, but the outfits I saw on Capital Region social media were 10 out of 10. Did you dress up, Jack?
No, I was on a Zoom call, so I went in to put it.
Yes.
And if there were such good people dressed up, are we going to have a contest or what?
Well, it made me think it might be time to try our best to resurface the Capital Region's best dress list.
Where'd it go?
Guys, we haven't been seeing much fashion out there. It has been very bleak in the scene out there. Besides the top 5 people that you can always count on for fashion, not anybody is out there posting their outfits. Like we've said for a few weeks now, we're not being our best selves. But I think we have the opportunity to be if we just put a little more effort in. Maybe we sort of structure the contest so that you guys know what we're looking for, right? Because I can't expect everybody to be dressing cool from 9 to 5. Easter is a special situation. So I do plan on bringing back the best dress list this week with some Easter outfits. But then going forward, what can we do? Can we see your best work at home outfits? Can we see your best yoga workout outfits? Can we see your best throwback outfit? I think that is one that people would love because I do it every day. I scroll back on the camera roll. I look at skinnier times, tanner times, more social times, more fashionable times, and you're proud of those moments. That's why you post them. That's why you take the pics. So I think a little throwback week, maybe to track season, I would like that because that is, for me, my hopeful deadline that this is all over, you know?
You want to be back at the track.
I want to be back at the track. I think that is a fashion moment for everybody. Whether you even like fashion or not, you take those 8 weeks seriously because it's the biggest photo op of the year, the biggest probably Tinder time, who knows? I mean, I think it's just a big free-for-all for 8 weeks, but you know there's a lot of eyes on you. You're catching up with old friends, meeting new people. People are traveling in from town. So I think we have a couple good topics for Fashion Friday, a couple good umbrella themes, you know? So I'm ready to bring that back. I'm going to need the help, though, of my fellow Buttonistas because you guys lead the charge. We have to be role models. We have to be tagging, posting, getting those OOTDs up, regardless of the situation.
Ooh, did it.
There is no good way to say that. I think that was one of those acronyms that I actually had to Google.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
You used one today that I did not know.
I made it up.
Okay, I was going to ask you. Do you remember what it was?
TGTBD. TGTBT.
Now I totally forgot what you were trying to say. Oh, I know. Too good to be true.
Yes. I was actively writing it, and I'm like, I am going to turn this into an acronym. And I did it.
I think you missed one letter, though. That's the reason why I didn't get it.
Too good to be true. TGTBT.
I think that's a good one. I mean, people are doing like FWIW for what it's worth.
That one was a tough one.
That one I definitely had to Google. I remember Googling OOTD, though, back in the day before I was like a self-proclaimed Joan Rivers, third grandchild sort of thing.
Yep.
But I'm glad we know it now. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm also glad I know now?
What's that?
Over the weekend, on Easter, again, making full maximum effort to create a special day for my loved ones that I can still see, I have been consistent with having fresh flowers in my apartment. Even though I have a jungle surrounding me, I think, again, if there's a couple little things you can splurge on or you can spend on, something like flowers, you're going to get your money's worth in that it's going to bring you joy every day, right? So on Easter Sunday, I bought some white tulips. I wanted it to go with the theme. I couldn't go like full-blown hot pink in here, So I bought some tulips, put them in my vase, cleaned it out, did everything that I would normally do, which isn't much. I mean, you basically just put them in the vase, right? And I was preparing for my guests to come over, and we'll throw the pictures in, but I look over and the tulips are literally, they look dead as a doornail. They're just like slumped over. They look so sad.
Oh.
And they hadn't even bloomed yet. They were still buds. They were fresh. They were green. And I posted it on my Instagram story and I said, was it something I said? And everybody was like commenting with like the laughing emoji, and people got a real kick out of it. I mean, I guess humor is hard to come by these days because I felt like a damn comedian. And I really just wanted to know how to fix it because they were brand new. It's not like they were sitting around for a week. And a friend of mine from high school, Taylor Dempsey, who, you know how there's just people that you are like your social media friends? Like my boyfriend makes fun of me because I'll be like, oh, I know that girl. And he's like, do you actually know her? And I'm like, well, we talk on Instagram like 3 times a week. As long as you have Instagram friends that you promise me you would say hi to if you saw them out, that's fine. If you actually would be like, oh my God, how are you? What's going on?
That's a friend.
That's a friend and an Instagram friend. It's a friend that you found on Instagram.
Okay.
You know, I think sometimes though you like are really chatty with someone online just because you like their content, and then you see them at a bar and you totally look the other way and like move your hair and don't even acknowledge it. And that's weird.
Not a friend.
No, but Taylor Dempsey, if I saw her out, I'd be happy to see her, especially now because she must be some sort of plant expert. And she gave me some critical criteria to take care of your tulips. And I can't even tell you, after I posted the revival picture of the success, even more people were like, wait, how did you do that? Because it's tulip season, Mother's Day is coming up. It's a good idea to keep them on your desk or your kitchen table. So I feel like I need to share my critical criteria for tulip care with you guys. Ready?
I'm ready.
All right, so step 1, apparently, is tulips. I'm not going to get it word for word. Tulips are one of the only plants that continues to grow after it's removed from the ground. So typically when you buy flowers, you do cut the bottom of the stems a little bit just so like I think the water can get in there more. So you usually cut them on an angle. I didn't do this with the tulips, honestly, just out of laziness, and they were brand new. And she said, continue to cut the bottom a little bit every day. So I did that. Then she said, remove the extra leaves from the stem. So there should be only 2 to 3 per stem. When I got them, there were like 4 or 5. So clearly they were like slumped over because they were weighed down. So I carefully peeled those off and removed those. And then the last thing, which I think is kind of obvious, but maybe I'm not that good about it, is that you should change the water every single day. So totally dump it. I usually rinse it out. I rinse the bottom of the stems off a little bit. And I did that. I did those 3 steps. And in like 20 minutes, it was back to completely normal. They looked beautiful. And they've been beautiful all week. Right now, they're a little, I don't know how long they're supposed to last, but that worked. And I think clearly, based on the response, people want to know how to take care of tulips. So there you go.
There we go.
You can't say you never learned something from me. You just can't.
You clip, trim, and drain.
Sure.
CTD.
Oh my God, we can't do that many acronyms.
Hopefully they last until Tulip Fest, though.
Well, that's kind of where we got to end on today, I think. But I had been thinking about tulips. And listen, they're actually not my favorite flower, but they are in season now. I thought it'd be nice for Easter. And Jack and I took a walk through Washington Park a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about Tulip Fest, which is sort of one of the biggest kickoffs here in the capital region to spring, to the warmer months. There's a huge EQX concert that goes on in the park, happens on Mother's Day, so it's a great family, friend activity. And this year, they pretty much immediately postponed it, which is sad. But Jack and I were like, what's going to happen to the tulips? There was a lot of tulip drama last year in Saratoga, here in Albany. The tulips are there. The buds are there. But if you postpone the festival, they don't last forever. They're a pretty quick in and out sort of plant. So I heard today from somebody who is an Albany business person that Tulip Fest, I think like the actual activities, like the concert, maybe they might do another version in the fall. But in the meantime, they're trying to figure out some virtual alternatives. They want a safe way for people to visit the tulips without it getting overcrowded, obviously, because if everybody still goes to Washington Park on that one weekend, it's going to be a nightmare. So I'm wondering, and I'm thinking about all these other virtual events that have rolled out, virtual galas, virtual concerts, virtual, seminars and meetings, virtual festivals. Are we doing this or no? Are we going to go? Are we going to tune in? I don't know. There's no replacement for human interaction or seeing something like tulips in person, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know if I just want to watch a video or drone footage of tulips and feel like I succeeded in getting that experience.
Maybe Albany should send a little thing of tulips to every resident. So then we celebrate it separately.
I love that idea. Just pull them all out of the ground. No need to go to the park. Bring them in here. I think if you actually did that and they had the bulb attached on the bottom, I think you could probably grow some. Maybe.
If we listened to your instructions, we would.
Oh my God, I'm basically just a genius. What is it called? A botanist? That seems like a weird word.
I think that's it.
I think I am. So I have to go. I have to go guarded in my bright colored tie-dye and water my plants with Vizzy. I forgot to mention that.